I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision-makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, BusinessDay fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. BusinessDay is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, BusinessDay is your guide.
For 25 years, BusinessDay has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. Text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, BusinessDay now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new BusinessDay website today and experience the future of news. For 25 years, BusinessDay has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. Text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, Business Day now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new Business Day website today and experience the future of news.
Good morning. It's a beautiful Thursday morning and you're tuned into the Business Morning Live Show on Business Day Television. We've got a packed morning ahead, starting off with the morning news. We then move to the newspaper review. We bring you the conversation on the show and wrap up with the social listening this Thursday. We'll go on a quick break now. When we come back, we bring you the morning news. So stay with us. And you're welcome to the Business Day Business Life News. I am Deborah Eze. Now let's see what's making the headlines. Fake agency, police tells reps at DME with dual legal process and forms part of an ongoing investigation. The clarification came during the committee's probe into the activities of the alleged agency and related budgetary allocations. The development had a new dimension to the parliamentary investigation as lawmakers continue to examine the circumstances surrounding the agency's operation and funding. Analysts say the probe is expected to test accountability in public institutions and could influence future oversight of government agencies and budget implementation. Nigeria hospitality industry is becoming increasingly attractive to investors, with industry leaders saying improving business conditions, rising domestic tourism, and growing demand for quality accommodation are creating new opportunities across the sector. Stakeholders note that sustained investment in hotels, restaurants, tourism infrastructure, and the Apex Bank noted that stable inflation, exchange rate, and fiscal discipline provide a foundation for growth, but lasting economic transformation will also require stronger institutions, improved efficiency, and support economic growth. U.S. officials said AI-powered solutions could help modernize custom operations, streamline cross-border trade, enhance
This is still the Business Day CEO from the 14th annual
Charges used to run between $21 and $25, and now we're seeing freight anywhere from $31 to $40. So that definitely has a significant impact on our cost. But what we are doing as a business is to also look at ways in which we can trim down on other costs. And so we've really looked at cost-saving initiatives across the board to be able to cushion that weight, because you definitely don't want to pass that on to your consumers.
Right. So we see many manufacturers they are increasingly turning to backward integration to reduce their dependence on imported raw materials. So how has this strategy helped your company?
In terms of backward integration of salt, that is very difficult because based on research, salt you're not able to cultivate and to manufacture salt at the large scale within the country. But we're looking at all our other resources to see how we can really rely on local manufacturers. That is across the board in terms of our packaging material, in terms of other additives that we have to not just our salt but also our seasoning. We're definitely relying more on local manufacturers to support those endeavors.
Now, you talked about something right there on the stage. You mentioned that energy cost amounts to up to 40% of your total input cost. So tell us more about that. Like, just break it down for us.
So that is an average across the nation, across manufacturing companies. You're seeing 30 to 40% of your costs are from energy costs. So what we have done as a business is, one, we try to ensure that all of our plants, they're running in the most efficient manner. We have a mix of both AGO generators and gas power generators, and so that is able to mitigate some of that cost. And then again, but the major thing I would say is efficiency, ensuring that you're producing at an efficiency significantly less per product.
Fantastic. I think we'll just leave it there today because we know you have to run and we have to wrap up. But thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you, Mr. Yomi Onubero.
Thank you so very much.
And let me congratulate you again on your appointment as the CEO, Deloitte West Africa.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about that appointment now. What's the expectations when it comes to the appointment to your clients, business alike, and also the stakeholders, regulators? What exactly is the expectation from your appointment?
Well, thank you so very much. So at Deloitte, we say we are AI powered and human led. And what that means is that as an organization, we want to support our clients, our people, and the country at large in leveraging the capabilities that we have within our organizations. Deloitte is the leading global professional services provider by far. It's a $74 billion business with 500,000 people, spread all around the world. And so we've got capabilities across different specialties, right? From tech to AI, to data, to cyber, to just different spectrum of financial advisory capability that clients do need. So my role and what it means to the client is being able to leverage all of those capabilities, bringing expertise within the local market, within the broader Deloitte Africa, which Deloitte Nigeria and West Africa is a member of, and more importantly, from within the global network of the firm, to supporting all that our clients really need to achieve. So we're here as enabler, we're here as strategic partners to help our clients achieve their strategic ambitions.
Right, very brilliant. I must say, amazing session you had during the panel session, and you really had lots of insightful, comment to make about that panel session. But what advice, in few words, do you have for CEOs that are actually trying to navigate this economic bandwidth right now? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I think if I can sum it in one, I think many businesses will make do and will benefit significantly from having strategic advisors to help them navigate all of the bottlenecks that we have. There's just so much that organizations need to deal with, from the barriers to the constraint to the regulation, while still ensuring they focus on their business. And so what successful organizations have done is to ensure that they focus on their core operations, core business, core capabilities, but ensuring that they leverage the skill and the expertise of advisors who've got the strength and the breadth and the specialty to handhold them and help them navigate all of the constraints and all of the challenges. So if I can sum it in one, that would be it, because operating in an environment like Nigeria can be quite challenging. Opportunities are massive. However, navigating and getting through to the end of the game can be very tough. Capital is available, but how accessible, how affordable? Skills are sometimes a challenge. What do you need to do to get them trained, to get them equipped? There are a lot of regulatory risks that you need to deal with. So becoming experts in many of those domains can be very challenging for businesses. So when businesses do that, they have very less time to focus on their own core operations, which is their own primary domain. So My advice, reserve all of your strength and all of your energy to focus on your own primary domain, but make sure that you get strategic advisors and partners to help you through, working in this environment like Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yomilungwero, for stopping by, and congratulations again on your
Thank
appointment.
you so very much, and I'm really pleased to be here. Fantastic conversation. We didn't have time to go through all of the sessions, but very stimulating. I love what Business Day is doing, and we're very proud that you stayed the course for a quarter of a century, and running this show for the 14th consecutive time is something really commendable. So my appreciation to the population, Frank, and to all of you who are supporting the process.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
Welcome back. This is the newspaper review segment, and I must say I am really blessed this morning because I am not doing this alone. I'm doing this with two amazing gentlemen, and of course I'm your host Deborah Eze, and joining me to analyze this
Okay, I'm Joshua Bassi.
Okay.
Good morning. I don't know Okay, I'm Mohammed Akoji. First of all, I don't know what is the introduction about.
Yeah,
I
wanted to. I'm blessed.
I can see that.
You know, we're in a society where a woman cannot be with more than one man. I look at me sitting with two men.
With two men. I'm going to do that to you now. That would be three men. You can imagine yourself.
Just imagine it.
Good morning today.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Bassi.
Good morning, Mohammed.
Good morning.
Oh, you slept well?
I did. I did, and had a very good one. Maybe at least my night was actually filled with. There was a movie I watched, and I was like, I'm going to tell Deborah about it this morning. That was my plan. And I'm going to be able to tell her about. Maybe see it over the weekend. Okay. It's called The Sheep Detective.
Oh,
sheep.
Okay.
I think it is really, really very good.
Okay.
I mean, I was really carried away, and I think it must actually be nominated for Oscars coming next year.
Amazing.
The Sheep Detective.
I'll check it out and then we can talk about it. All right, let's quickly take a what the front page of the Business Day. We move to the Guardian, Punch, Vanguard, are all reporting this morning before we wrap up with the cartoon of the day. Now, kicking off with the Business Day newspaper. The big story on the Business Day newspaper this morning reads, how Nigeria builds 101,000 kilometers of fiber that bypasses 130 million Nigerians. And that is on page 30. And then we have another one. Africa's biggest IPO draws closer as Dangote Refinery files with SEC. And that is also on page 30 of the Business Day newspaper. And still on the Business Day newspaper this morning, poor welfare, corruption haunts Nigeria's biggest army expansion plan. And that is also on page 30 of the Business Day newspaper. And we have the hospitality sector, now investment ready, industry leaders say. And that is on page 31. And also finally on the Business Day newspaper, fake agency DJ fails to appear before the reps panel. And that is on page 31 of the Business Day newspaper. There's something about Business Day's big story that I usually like. It's very unique. And I like how I don't want to use the word they're always very, what's that word when you don't want to say what it is, but we can clearly see what it is. Yes. And I like how they actually make use of the stories, and also, you know, the headline itself. It's very appealing and catchy for you to actually see.
Had a human face, I think so.
Yeah. Because I'm going to start with Bassi now. The Nigerian builds 101,000 kilometers of fiber that bypasses 130. That is an irony if you look at it.
But you enjoy internet, I guess. You enjoy internet access yourself.
Do I enjoy it? No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I don't enjoy it.
You're always online, remember?
I'm always online.
This is Deborah always online.
Always. And I will tell you, it's a struggle.
Okay.
I pay out of my pockets, and then you get internet access that, you know, it's not really, it's very shaky. So I'm trying to see how 101,000 kilometers, that's massive.
That's many people, and then you know, really look at it. Like you said, interesting story, a business story as it were, but with human angle. So it's a manifestation of a business story, you know, wrap around human angle stories wrap around the business. Fine. So great. They've done this so much, 100,000 kilometers, but bypassing 130 million. That's serious. It means that the impact of this not being felt by the people that this is supposed to serve, really, because there's the concentration of this on the major cities, basically Lagos and Abuja. Then, of course, talk about maybe Ogun State. Then the people who are in the other part of the country are not actually benefiting, even within Lagos. And I'm talking about the quality of service that you get, the internet service that you get is even still poor, meaning that a lot more still need to be done. I mean, to at least not only improve the quality of service that we get in Lagos and Abuja and other major cities, but even also ensure that people who are not within these major cities that we're talking about, they also have the benefit of internet quality internet service.
Right.
Every time I travel home, of course, my home is Akwa Ibom State, somewhere in around. The quality of service that you get is always very annoying. It's almost like, is this car?
Akwa Ibom is just on your way. That's is it what they call it? OPIC. Once you climb the bridge and you're heading towards OPIC, the network is already gone.
is a major city.
In Lagos, we are trying to see like a bit. When you're moving out of Lagos, it's poor. Not to talk of Akwa Ibom that you have to travel miles. You get what I mean?
But I can also understand, because again, the investors are looking for where the people are, and then people are able to pay for some of these things. So if you also look at it, I mean, investors will naturally be drawn to where there's business opportunity. So you have a lot of people who can pay for some of these things in major cities.
But is that
those far-flung areas? So poverty also, if you also look at it, there's an underlying factor, which is poverty in some of these things. If you go to where people are able to pay for this service, you'll be able to build infrastructure around that area, because we know definitely the people that you are meant to serve will be able to pay for some of these things. A lot of people have telephone numbers merely just for maybe voice call and all.
Look at this course you see here. I mean, just want to jump on it, and I think it's yesterday we were trying to be able to do a data coding of how many subscribers, for example, MTN has. And MTN Nigeria has close to 90 million subscribers. 90 million, that's quite huge. And then if you're able to sample opinions, and just like what Mr. saying, you hear people talking about what is wrong with this network every now and then. That's why I ask you the question. Because we've laid these fiber optics. This is what to be able to provide, uninterrupted internet access to Nigerians. We're able to lay all this majorly, just like what Mr. Pasi said as well. Lagos and Abuja got to close to about 20% of these fiber optics. But even people in those major centers, in those metropolis, are still complaining of the quality of services that they get, which is what, and just like his experience about Akwa Ibom, in fact, I feel like Akwa Ibom should actually be able to have, it's a major city as well, Akwa Ibom. Uyo itself is a very important major city in Nigeria. But I'm sure this is the reality of many Nigerians. In the last 2 weeks now, especially coupled with the way you hear people talking about MTN is killing me today. Just people always want people to post it on the status and say, what is wrong with MTN? So of course, MTN or Airtel is actually doing this to me today.
You know what was this?
Of course, just go off for hours. And they can be able to, that's productive hours wasted. People that have business to do at that period in time, people that have connections to make will actually be able to suffer. So I think just like Mr. Pasi said at the beginning, it's a business story. I think they needed to be able to advance on their data centers and their data infrastructure that can provide quality service in Nigeria.
All right, let's now move to the hospitality sector. We had the tourism event yesterday, and it spoke more to hospitality. We said that tourism is actually a broad body of hospitality. And now you're saying that you're now investment ready. That was the theme of the event, and this is coming from the industry leaders. Now, this is bringing me back to Akwa Ibom. One of the major conversation was the fact that Akwa Ibom actually has a lot of history. That's the slave trade, where the apartheid and all of that happened.
Slave trade actually, slave trade, slave issues, and to use that as a channel to.
But then we don't explore the industry, but rather when you hear slave trade, what everyone would think about is Badagry. You think Badagry, but in Akwa Ibom,
the point of
that's really what we think about. And I spoke about it because it's still the same issue when you look at this fiber issue. It is Lagos. Why is that? And if you say you're investment ready, why, why don't we, first of all, we have to be taught history. That was my conclusion. Because if people don't understand their history, they don't understand, where they're supposed to invest in. So why is there that problem? Because no one was able to answer that question yesterday.
Very well yesterday.
Why is there that problem? Why is it that it's just one size to all the time? If it's Lagos, it's Lagos.
Exactly.
Any other place does not
Forget
exist. And with that in mind, do you actually think that we're investment ready? Regardless of
I think I agree. I agree. Even though I did not be able to listen exclusively to the event yesterday because of what I think I was doing. But I think I'll just be able to answer your question first on the fact that, is there like over concentration in our major cities? Is it like only Lagos, maybe Abuja, or maybe Port Harcourt, they talk about Kano, and then others are bound to the Philistines. Whatever happened to them is their own fate. Because I know at regular interval, at different periods, especially during election seasons, politicians always come with the idea that let us diversify. Don't let us be able to concentrate everything. There's still this decentralization, especially from Lagos, majorly. Look at things around seaport, for example. We know that it has actually been the major channel to be able to bring goods into the country. But go to South. There are also waterways there that attention could also be focused on. Cross River, for example, there are ports there. But you see that even people in Port Harcourt, we still want to come and ship their goods all the way from Apapa here, or Tinkan, And this have actually been, maybe right from time, colonialists, the development agenda has been unbalanced. So there's something in economics we call balanced economic development, where we develop all states on an equal footing, and we ensure that we situate resources so a balanced stuff. Because so that will not create a problem that happened in the Korean. If you look at Korean history, for example, and the Sudanese history, you hear that is what they are talking about there. What was the problem? It appears that development, historical artifacts, national assets are concentrated in some region at the expense of the other. So when South Korea and North Korea split in 1940, it created a problem. Most of the development national assets, as you can call them, were in the South and not in the North. And that created a problem to them. The same happened in South Sudan and North Sudan when they split. So I'm sure that which is going into the next election, or I will need to also be able to tell government to give attention to other regions as well. And at the same time, the governors of those states, what are they doing? That's the question. Because as much as possible, are you also investment ready in your state to be able to attract those investment? I think is important. Then going back to a question about hospitality, I think that is very important. I think we're investment ready in that regard because when I think the problem will lie, because when I was growing up, you hear things about Tinapa Resort in Cross River, right? Obudu Cattle Ranch in Cross River to Yankara Reserve in Bauchi, right? And then we see a lot of effort, Shun. There is Enjesha waterfall.
Have you seen Obudu Cattle Ranch?
That's what I'm talking about. I think that's what I think is the maintenance culture that we need to work on. It appears that people are looking at all these historical sites and efforts are being, targeted at them to ensure that we give them. But after the Duke, for example, we left Cross River, what happens to it? Now, is the presidential candidate at PRP now, the same Mr. Donald Duke. After we saw the kind of attention that it puts, the investment that went into Tinapa. If you have not been to Tinapa Resorts, when we were growing up anyway, I remember my days in university, you have not been to anywhere in Nigeria. It was an attraction site. Today, I don't even know the fate of that. Maybe Mr. Bassi will come from another exist can tell us. Those are I've never been there. I'm just saying, nobody talks about it anymore. People want to go to Maldives now. Those days, I'm talking about here in Lagos. Maybe I am a Lagos person. I grew up here. We always say about it. So much time will tell you, I have to go to Tinapa. If you have not been to Tinapa, you've not been to anywhere in the world. You've not been to Yankari Reserve. So maybe the poor maintenance culture that we always talk about, nobody's talking about it today. People want to talk about Maldives, go to Santorini in Greece, and go to London, and then go to Paris. So what are those hospitality centers? What are we really doing to maintain those ones that we have before we talk about unhealthy new ones?
Right.
I think basically is something that it actually the responsibility for doing that will actually rest more with the governors of the various states. If you have a tourist attraction around your state, you should be able to develop
and sustain
and then find a way to bring the private sector, because really some of these things government can't do it alone.
Of course.
Find collaboration,
PPPs, public-private partnerships,
private sector
that will sustain the money and then give it the facelift.
Allow them to run it. Allow them to run it. You can just provide the infrastructure. Allow the private sector people who
understand the business. I understand the business very well.
To run this thing, and then but you need to show them. You need to guide them to say, look, I have this within my state, and then design policy that can help people come in, that can enable people coming to actually take advantage of what you have around your state. But if you just sit down and nobody might come, you have to make noise. Of course, Tinapa, like you said, after Donald Duke left, the guy who came,
just abandoned, and successive governors that have come after him. I don't think there's anything.
The current governor of Basi Otu is trying to
revive it.
Yes, trying to revive it. So let's hope that he's able to do it.
He's able to do it. And after him, the successive governors, maybe going second, we don't do the same thing again. Maybe they can come with another policy. And those are the think about being investment ready that Deb has. Is it really about that? Because I'm not saying the existing ones we have, what are we doing about them? That's even the question. Because just like maybe Lagos here would have that, those other states as well. But that's just, Tinapa is just one of them. There's a very popular game reserve in Bauchi. We heard about it there. Yankari Game Reserve was actually a very, and we'll totally talk about the animals that you have there and the kind of money it can be able to generate. Nobody's talking about all those things again. I mean, just go suddenly filters away.
Go to Bauchi.
Because of security other factors.
Of course. Now, let's now move on to the Guardian. And we didn't forget the Dangote refinery.
Oh, yes. I think you want to jump on that.
Yeah, for what is going
September to be. September is people are really coming. IPO in town. I don't know you buy into it, I'm sure you are. Well, I know you say you have been saving your money.
Let's move to the Guardian.
You are saving your money for it.
To the
so September, I'm sure everybody is actually expecting it to hit the market.
All right, on the Guardian newspaper, the big story, we have opposition flays Tinubu's focus on re-election, loses confidence in NERC. The Guardian newspaper loses confidence in NERC, and that is on page 6. And still on the Guardian newspaper, xenophobia, Lesotho woos Nigerians as federal government South Africa resumes talk. I think we have the Guardian and not the Vanguard. And also we have US to stop visa processing at Abuja Embassy, 24 other African mission. And that is on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And you're shown, Amopita meets stakeholders amid tension. And that is on page 5. High interest rates unsettling Nigeria. It's 20-year high, says Oxford economist. And that is on page 15. PFIPC scandal, more concerns as HOS admits lapses. HOS admits lapses in vetting processes. And that is on page 6. And we have Northern Senators back Tinubu's military expansion after Benue Kaduna massacres. And that is on page 30. And at the top of the Guardian newspaper, Atiku accuses Tinubu of fiscal recklessness, faults 12.62 trillion naira borrowing, and that is on page 3. And Brent crude nears $90 per barrel as diesel depot prices jump to 1,670 naira per litre, and that is on page 3. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper, how Nigeria secured $30 billion Paris Club debt relief, and that is by Okonjo Iweala, and that is on page 3. Mr. Bassett is going to speak to us about the opposition flare that Tinubu is focusing on, and then more, you're going to talk to us about this high rates on settling Nigeria, and that is coming from the Oxford economists. So let's look at the opposition and INEC.
Yeah, I mean, truly, it is what it is. I mean, the president, everybody knows that the focus has been more on the politics than the governance. It seems that governance actually is relegated to the background, but it shouldn't be so. But of course, it's not understandable anyway because elections are coming. So the president was to return in 2027, so you naturally wants to do everything possible to make sure that it doesn't fail. But I must actually point out something that I watched the president said the other day, and I felt that it shouldn't be so. The Catholic bishops had visited the president in Asoro, and then he was responding to questions, and then one of the things that he said was that INEC is unbiased, doing well. INEC is not chanting, it's not doing anybody anything that INEC is doing. So I think that I felt, when I watched that, I was alarmed. Because I felt that the president should not be speaking for INEC. Because Mr. President, sir, you are not the spokesperson of the INEC. INEC should speak for itself, and then shouldn't just come out to defend INEC because you are going to be a candidate.
In the election.
You are a candidate in the election that is coming. You know, so you shouldn't be the one to speak for INEC. Nigerians have expressed concern about what it is that INEC is doing, and I think that those concerns we should continually. I mean, Nigerians should continually express those concerns, and because those concern that people are talking about, well, even if people are criticizing INEC, that will make INEC to sit up,
of course,
and they understand that people are watching what INEC is doing, and then INEC will be able to, because INEC itself has said, look, we will do our best. The election of 2027 will be better than what that of. So that is what we want to see, of course. Okay, so the president should not be the one to speak for INEC. I mean, we should allow INEC to do what it is they've been given, constitutionally assigned to do. And that the pressure that people are putting on INEC is necessary.
Of course.
Because INEC, on the basis of that, they sit up and say, let's prove you wrong. You know, so that's
provide free election and credible.
Loses confidence in INEC, yeah. But of course, I wouldn't say that at this point we should lose that confidence in INEC. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and see what they will be able to do. But it is important that we continue to put pressure on INEC to do the right thing.
Well, I must say, Amupiton actually, showed competence with the Ekiti State election. I must actually give it to him.
Amazing.
It was no, for real, because I followed the election process.
Because a lot of people faulted him. That's what I said. That there are faults and concerns, but it's really coming from there, maybe.
Yeah, coming from me, you know that.
Coming from you. A lot of people faulted, even though there will always be a mix of condemnation and commendation.
There will always be a mix of condemnation. Judging from the history of Ekiti State election, I must really say the re-election of Governor Abiodun was actually, it was free and fair. I'm going to say that.
Let's hope that the general election will be. I mean, it's a bit more stress. The election will show us the 15th of next month.
And so let's go another test as well. Even though the state has been there of the storm. Pressure. In fact, early this morning, that was the fact that the crisis there and there. The SAG, the secretary to the state governor, was just arrested yesterday as a result of the allegations about PVCs that were actually met with him. And then so he said I should
it was just two PVCs now.
They said two PVCs and the electoral register 4.something million naira.
I must say, APC, they're really doing the job of the opposition well. It was actually really.
I mean, it's was in the show. So I'm sure maybe the level of calm and what we saw in Ekiti, hopefully INEC will try to be able to reproduce it. Because now the issue in Ekiti now is even Nigerian police force now, not INEC, that is actually given, I've been there out of the storm, actually being the challenge over there. So, but ADC coming out just like follow. ADC came out yesterday that they lost confidence in INEC was actually the high point for a lot of people. But remember that it's the same INEC that took when Justice Peter Lifu gave that judgment over the registration of ADC before Justice Mohammed's Court of Appeal overturned that judgment and accused him of judicial brigandage of what he did. It was INEC that actually went to go and appeal that judgment, that these 5 parties cannot be deregistered, and given a lot of other things there. So when we saw David Mark yesterday calling the national press conference, a world press conference as they call it, and then they expressed that their discomfort and lack of confidence, as they say in INEC, to me was actually surprising anyway when I saw them. But just as surprising, I think is the opposition. They need to be able to play that well. They need to be able to put the fire to the feet of INEC and ensure that they do the right thing going ahead. So
all right, let's
is okay. Yeah. It's the interest rate. I'm sure the expert economics story that you read. Just two things I want you to talk about. First was just like I think on Tuesday we spoke about it. That yesterday, Mr. Adeyemi Matthew supposed to appear before the House of Reps panel. But the IG sent the deputy IG there and said that they held him because of the court order, and then if they wanted Nigerian police to be able to bring him, they need to be able to go and secure a court order to allow him to actually be able to come and be able to be presented to the State House of Reps committee yesterday. So they're able to be able to give their ground, and the House of Reps also led by Mr. Amon Yusuf Gagdi like that from I think Plateau State or Niger. I agreed with them. But the high point for me there was the head of service. who acknowledged the fact that there was a lapses in the letter that was actually given to Mr. Dini Adeyemi. And she owed up to that particular error. Maybe women are always like that. And maybe for the first time, we saw somebody that's actually be able to hold up that the fact that, oh, we are sorry, there was a mistake, there was an institutional lapse on their own part, and that they will be able to learn from that. Because institutional memory will learn from that and they'll be able to move forward. But the interest rate as well, we agree that, because that's the problem. Interest rate being high will crowd out investment to the private sector, which is a very, very big challenge. And even most of the banks now prefer to be able to give money to the government now than the private sector, because that's more securitized. And private sector, so at 26.5% is still high. But once inflation is in the double digits, there is no way. Because two things, the investors that are bringing their money into your country will consider inflation and exchange rate. Now, what will be the real, so if inflation is 16%, about 15.9% as we have it, for you to attract them to bring their dollars, if it's a foreign political investment, the interest rate has to be higher, because it is the difference between the interest rates and the inflation rate that we call the real rates that will determine whether they're going to get returns or they will not. So we know it is high, especially if you want to attract foreign portfolio investment. But the problem is that foreign direct investment, people that will be able to build factories, that will build workshops, will not be able to do that, because that will call that investment.
And that's more important.
That's more important than the economy. Thank you very much. It's more important to the economy than the FPI. But at the same time, it is very important. But at the same time, we need to have dollars in reserves. So we need to grow these reserves. We need to have people that bring in foreign currency into the foreign portfolio investment. So it's always a mixed bag. It's a kind of a between develop. What can we be able to do? We need to encourage the FDIs to build factories, to employ people, to create more revenue. At the same time, we need some of these foreign currencies. And then once inflation is this high, we need to be able to put the interest rate, above it, so that is the difference. That differential is what will determine the returns.
I think there's need to strike a balance.
Of course, always.
All right, very well said. Let's now move to the Punch newspaper. What do we have on the Punch newspaper this morning? The big story on the Punch newspaper reads: Federal government overshoots borrowing limit as new debt reaches 12.62 trillion naira. Do you know why he's laughing?
It is connected. Just finish reading it and you laugh. So we should. All right. Anyway.
The federal, that's the government, misses revenue targets by 4.9 trillion naira despite higher non-oil earnings. And the same rider to the story, another rider to the story reads: budget deficit balloons by 47% above projection. And the final rider to that story: fresh loans bankrolled 36% of 2024 spending, and that is coming from the budget office report. And at the top of the Punch newspaper, we have the appeal court restores ADC Atiku, Mark Adeleke celebrates. And the police silence as reps ultimatum on fake agency DG expires today. Another one: EFCC faces credibility question over asset auction. And at the corner of the Punch newspaper, we have Tinubu orders security chiefs to fish out Kaduna killers. And that is on page 17. We have the US-Iran war. Nigeria tops Africa in petrol price surge. And at the bottom of the Punch newspaper, we have state police governors must control CPs. Southern Middle Belt leaders insist. And also collapse building, 3 dead, 12 rescued as Ogun begins probe. And finally, Makinde unveils 2 new surveillance aircraft to combat insecurity.
That's, I think, the picture there was around that. About it was just delivered yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, I think the story that's interesting, I'm interested in Deborah's story is what for me touches everybody. Is US-Iran war and Nigeria tops Africa in petrol. Why should it be so? I mean, because we have a refinery here. I mean, why should Nigerians
I think this is a conversation that we have here almost all the time.
Why should Nigerians pay higher, petrol price, even when we have a refinery that is producing the same right now, compare to other African countries? I mean, something that is concerning. You know, so I don't know. Maybe Buame will also come in here. I don't know what it is that
it's causing this.
With our government and maybe marketers, Dangote refinery can do to ensure that you know these things don't continue. I mean, because every time there is a surge in the crude price, of course, it goes up. It goes up, and then whenever there is a drop, we don't see a corresponding drop. So I think it's something that we just need to find a way to deal with, so that Nigerians can equally benefit whenever there's a price drop at the international job. I know that because of Iran that it's spiking again, but whenever it spikes, we pay for that increase. But whenever it drops, people don't. We should also pay.
That's actually yes. This was a conversation we had on Tuesday. So
the economist will say prices are always very flexible upward, but very sticky downward. Yeah, because that is where behavioral economics now coming in. I think that, and I think the Iran war, Mr. Bassett said that, which is, but at the same time, because I know Deb laughed about the debt, the 12.6. They've tried to explain one of the things that actually be able to cause this overshoot, because this is 2024 budget report. Don't forget, we've still not been able to have the budget performance of 2025 yet. Yeah, 2026 is in fact just going to take effect on Monday, July 2026 budget. Unfortunately, because of we have supplementary budget of 2025, we have the 2025 budget as well. But if you look at that, 2024, don't forget that was where we have exchange rate premiums. There's adjustments in exchange rate. The difference between when the loan were taken, the exchange rates then
as a borrowing.
That's that borrowing. I'm talking about borrowing. So what caused that is the exchange rate differential, because once the exchange rate jumped from where it was after subsidy has gone, inflation of exchange rate, I think it created this 12 trillion. So that bucket, we need the budget office and the Ministry of Finance to explain what are the components of this 12 trillion difference between our revenue projection for that year and the expenditure that we actually be able to do. And I think that's just the way. And then the final part there is, I mean, you talk about Oshun, was Oshun State as well? The fake agency.
The fake agency, yes. All right, let's now conclude this with the cartoon of the day. Let's see what we have on the cartoon of the day this morning. And we have a caricature of the president with his unique cap. And then we have also a caricature of obviously a Nigerian citizen that is collecting blood. Oh, it is the governor. The blood is tied on the caricature of the president's hand and not even on the patient's hand. And it reads, "I know about your suffering. I have come to remind you of your pain, but be patient." There are no words.
I have come to remind you of your pain, but be patient.
Yeah. Meaning,
our cartoonist with
I can see that you're hungry, and I'll say, I know that you are hungry.
Hold on.
I have chocolates, but hold on.
But what if he dies?
Of course.
Why is he holding on?
I mean,
before
that's the reality of many Nigerians. You know how many Nigerians are dying of hunger?
Oh yes.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't
deny that fact. Exactly. So I think that is what this is speaking to.
Oh yes.
Governments. Let me put it that way. You make promises. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then you don't really care about, the basics of the common man. Anyways, thank you for joining us in the studio this morning. That's all that we can take for the newspaper review. Up next is our topics of conversations this morning. Just stay with us.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision-makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, BusinessDay fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. BusinessDay is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, BusinessDay is your guide.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musef.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that BusinessDay television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musef.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that BusinessDay television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
For 25 years, BusinessDay has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. Text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, BusinessDay now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new BusinessDay website today and experience the future of news.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doreen is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association, all the way from Ghana. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about Business Day. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doreen is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association, all the way from Ghana. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question. You'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
Attention business leaders. Want to make informed decisions? Join the ranks of the best with Premium Business Day. Access in-depth analysis and expert opinions to stay ahead. Subscribe now at premium.businessday.ng and unlock premium content. Plus, you get 50% off your first subscription. Don't miss out. Make smarter choices and seize new opportunities. Sign up now and elevate your business game. Visit premium.businessday.ng today.
You're still watching the Business Morning Live, and you're just in time for our first conversation this morning. Artificial intelligence is changing how businesses operate, but there's another powerful technology working quietly in the background, and that's geospatial intelligence. By combining AI with state-like imagery and location data, businesses and governments are making smarter decisions, from improving agricultural yields and strengthening public health systems to optimizing logistics, managing disaster, and planning smarter cities. As Nigeria looks to harness technology for economic growth and sustainable development, how can geospatial intelligence unlock new opportunities for businesses, policymakers, and entrepreneurs? And joining us to discuss this is Dr. Ayodeji Kapo. He's an AI geospatial data analyst. Good morning, Dr. Deji. It's good to have you on the Business Morning Live. All right, let's go right into it. Many people are familiar with AI. Everywhere you go, it's AI, AI everywhere. But few people understand what geospatial intelligence means. So can you explain what it is and why it has become such an important tool for businesses today? Are you good? Can you hear me now? All right, so I was saying that, many people are familiar with AI. That's the basics of AI, those that use ChatGPT and Gemini and the likes. But fewer understand what the geospatial intelligence actually mean. Can you explain to us what it means and why it has become such an important tool for businesses today? Can you hear me, Dr. Kapo? I think we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll still have Dr. Kapo with us. Do stay with us.
Attention business leaders. Want to make informed decisions? Join the ranks of the best with Premium Business Day. Access in-depth analysis and expert opinions to stay ahead. Subscribe now at premium.businessday.ng and unlock premium content. Plus, you get 50% off your first subscription. Don't miss out. Make smarter choices and seize new opportunities. Sign up now and elevate your business game. Visit premium.businessday.ng today.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic.
Welcome back. We still have Dr. Capo connected with us. Dr. Capo, thank you for staying with us this morning. Now, I was asking before we went on that break that many people are familiar with AI. That's the general AI, right? But few people understand what geospatial intelligence means. So can you explain what it is and why it has become such an important tool for businesses today?
Well, geospatial intelligence is just locational intelligence, and it deals with just three aspects. That is the GIS itself, and that's the system that gathers all spatial data. What we mean by geospatial is simply anything that has space. So it's just space and technology. And you can agree with me that everything that we are here on Earth here is based on space. You're sitting in the TV station, I'm sitting in my location here. We all have a location on the exponent. So it's based on space. And the popular one which people know is the satellite technology. You have satellite in space, and this provides data for the GIS work. So you have things like satellites, you have things like drones, and then you have what you call the GPS. That is probably used in most of these logistics apps, and even our Uber hiring services that gives us the location itself. So it gives us what we call the GIS coordinates, the X and Y coordinates. And the unique thing about the GIS, the spatial technology, that everywhere is unique. Even if I'm standing together with you, my location and yours cannot be the same. So that's one unique thing about the GIS thing. And in terms of the GIS, anything you need to do has to do with space, has to do with environment. Like you want to set up a business, like you want to set up a business, you need a location, you need customer base with it. And so with the geospatial information that tells you where your customers is, and integration of it with AI. AI is simply integration of data together. It's just mathematics. It uses what is past data and uses it to predict what the future data will be. So it can tell you the customer patterns, how customers' patterns are changing, where is the best location to site your businesses, so that you can have a better, robust business and more profitable business that will satisfy your demand and also increase your profit margin.
Right. So, from your bio here, you've worked with organizations across the healthcare sector, agriculture, and sustainable development. So, which sector in Nigeria stands to benefit the most from AI-powered geospatial technology or spatial technology, and why?
Every sector in Nigeria actually benefits. When we talk about sustainable development, we are talking especially about food security. And that is agriculture, because without sustainable development without being able to feed our teeming population. And so with integration of GIS, farmers can know the right place in which to site their crops. Or because you agree with me that we're having challenges with climate change, they're about allowing them to distorting their normal local or traditional knowledges on how to plant their things. But with integration of GIS can let them know what is the best time to plant. It can even determine the crops, the moisture content, because you agree with me, crops need water, certain level of moisture to work. It can even help them identify areas that are flood prone, so that they know what kind of crops to plant there. They don't go and plant a crop that will be destroyed with water, but rather they plant crops that are there. In terms of the business, the logistics business have already embraced it. The Uber hiring apps, the apps that we're all using, our ride sharing apps, have already embrace AIS and GIS, because it is through the Google map they use based on AIS that determines what best routes to go, how to avoid traffic, peak times, and so with this they're able to have a better efficiency. They're able to reduce their costs because the time that are spent wasting in traffic has been eliminated, and it also extends the wear and tear to the vehicle, reduces wear and tear to the vehicle, and increases their lifespan. And of course, for business, the fintechs have even embraced it much, and it has spilled over to the SMEs, because in traditional times, you agree with that the banks then will require a credit history for you. They want you to bring the collateral, but with all these fintechs, they're able to use the GIS, which is your location, to know where you most frequent. If the GIS locates, all the apps usually have a locational app, so they know where you most frequent. If you are probably working in a trader in a Balogun market, they know where you most frequent with it, so they're able to access it. They have a database of all your system. The AI is able to generate, analyze within a short time your credit history, that is your transaction history, how much funds you have been able to transact, your turnover with. And with that, it can just generate a predictable amount that can give out to you. And that's what most of the loan apps are already using. Of course, the creative industries too have also used it. Even on the YouTube apps, you can see them using things like videos, AI generated videos, to build traffic and generate residual incomes to themselves. So by and large, it is, and most especially even government too. Government has embraced it to an extent now. There's a government policy that's even trying to map out agricultural lands every 15 days. It's a pilot project. They are also using it for even electricity, but government has not fully adopted it yet because of some bureaucratic things. But with the more government adopting things like e-governance, the convergence of AI and geospatial technology will go a long way into delivering the dividends of democracy for the citizens.
All right. Businesses are constantly looking for ways to cut costs and also at the same time improve efficiency. So how do you think location intelligence will help companies make better operational and also investment decisions?
Yes, artificial intelligence can analyze large, massive amounts of data. It can help you analyze historical trends of inflation. It can help you analyze customer spending patterns. It can even help you to put all these information joined together. It can help you locate how best to serve your customers. Think of it as having an empty map of maybe Lagos State. Then you have the roads there. And then you now overlay the population density, you put the buildings there. All these informations can be integrated together to show you, and now bring things like spending patterns, mobile traffic that can be gotten from how the base stations are, mobile distribution. So with this now, you can even now look at the spending pattern. So you can help you look at where is the best place to actually cite the product for customers that will be able to buy. Even in on your website, when you go to all these e-commerce, when you search for a particular item, the next search you are searching on Google item will automatically display to it. That's the power of AI, because it sees that is what you want and it's already building a trend what you purchase. So with businesses embracing this, can help them target their customers with specific products. It can even help companies also reduce their inventories. In time past, they just put inventories based on maybe population and whatever. But now with AI, they can also integrate other things, not only population, they can also look at the distribution, they can also look at the spending pattern, they can also look at mobile location distribution. So with all these, they're able to allocate that, okay, this particular place will probably require this amount of inventory instead of the higher amount of it. So that way they reduce the inventory cost and distribution. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, the logistics companies are already using it, and that's why they have a particular time where they deliver your goods, you buy on e-commerce, because it's a time that is well suited for them, less traffic, and they're able to save costs with it. And the consumer is satisfied and everybody is happy.
All right, let's look at one of the biggest concerns of AI, which is data quality. How important is accurate geospatial data, and what gaps does Nigeria need to address to be able to fully leverage this type of technology?
Yes, the geospatial data, the technology has actually advanced now, and Nigeria needs to embrace it. Yeah, because while we have infrastructure gaps, but infrastructure gaps cannot be limiting to development. Human beings must always develop. Just as we leapfrog from waiting to give every community landlines and we leapfrog to mobile technology, similar thing too can be replicated in the AI and geospatial technology. And right now, technology is getting more simpler than roots. The little as a mobile phone, you can actually access these things. Now we're having AIs that are predictive AIs that are built on small algorithms that you can just work on them on your phone. Some are even able to work offline for particular periods, and when they receive network data, they can carry out more analysis too. So the gap is there, but the literacy challenge we're having now is the weak literacy. That's where we need sensitization. That's why programs like this are very good for us to educate the public on how they can best utilize this data. Most of these data are actually available. Most of them are actually even freely available. As simple as your Google Earth, your Google map that you use to locate your locations where you want to go or design your traffic routes. All these data are also available.
All right, let's quickly wrap it up, Dr. Kapo, because we're pressed with time. So looking ahead, what emerging trends in AI and the geospatial intelligence should businesses, investors, and also policymakers be preparing for over the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years? And what must Nigeria do to remain competitive?
Yes, Nigeria has a lot to do. And thank God we have a teeming young population who will be an asset to us if we embrace the AI technology by giving them capacity building to be able to utilize this. And there are so many opportunities embedded with this AI technology. But the technology is advancing at a very high rate. In fact, what you have today, tomorrow, another thing is coming up. But government has to key into it. Sensitization, like I said, the weak literacy, digital literacy. There has to be sensitizations by government agencies such as the National Orientation Agency, Ministry of Information. Platforms like this, the social media, will embrace into it, and development opportunities. Youth key into how to utilize this information data. Already they are using it on the YouTube and some other social medias, but we can exploit more. And for government to actually have collated, digitize their analog data so that this data become available. At least data that are not sensitive data can be made freely available so that our young youths can build apps that will incubate this geospatial data, and will localize our own technology, our own apps here that will serve our particular needs, our business needs, our commercial needs, even our agricultural needs. So the way forward is embracing of AI and geospatial technology with all stakeholders embedded into it, involved into it, constant engagement with everybody. And at the end of the day, we all have a robust and sustainable development for the nation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Capo. It was really very insightful with you this morning. All right, the conversation continues after this break. Don't go anywhere. Just stay with us.
For 25 years, Business Day has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. Text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, Business Day now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new Business Day website today and experience the future of news.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Dorin is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International Media Association. All right, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about Business Days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question. You'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
To the Business Morning Live show right here on Business Day Television. Now let's move on to the second topic, and we are examining building businesses that last, why systems matter more than great ideas. Now, every successful business starts with an idea, but not every great idea becomes a successful business. More often than not, the difference lies in execution, from inefficient operations and poor leadership to weak processes and inability to scale. Many businesses struggle not because they lack innovation, but because they lack systems. As businesses navigate a more competitive and technology-driven environment, the conversation is shifting from simply having a great product to building an organization that can consistently deliver value. Today, we explore why systems, structure, and operational excellence are the true foundation of sustainable business growth. We are being joined by Deborah Omotara, and she's an operations manager. Good morning, Deborah. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Very well. Okay, let's go right into it. We often hear that, ideas are cheap and execution is everything. In your experience, what separates businesses that survive from those that fail, even when both start with, the equal great ideas?
Thank you so much for that question. I think you've said a very key detail, which is that what separates a business that fails and a business that stands is structure. Right, so let's even start from the building department. Let me just use it that way. If you want to build something today, you hear, okay, you need to bring your plan, and architects need to structure it, and then we have the surveyors, we have different departments that brings together a building that stands today. So the same thing applies to building a business, because a lot of people skip the process and want to get the end result, right? So what differentiates a business that stands today is the proper structure, right? What are the things that a business have put in place right from day one to their day 100, to their day 200 and 300, and even up to 70, 100 years, celebrating their existence. I would also like to add that you don't need all your business to be structured from day one, right? Structure is built over time. So when we talk of you being able to sustain your business over the years, that means it's something you're building. It's a growth process. So your business is different from someone who fails by structure. Yeah.
All right. Many entrepreneurs, they focus heavily on raising capital, but how often is the real problem a lack of operational system rather than the lack of funding?
Okay, so I work in the startup space, and a lot of people have gotten funding and they've also failed in their business, right? So there are other things that contribute to people failing in business when it comes to startup. But one thing is actually key. A lot of individuals limit or estimate, right, the capacity of their business and say, oh, I think what I need right now is funding. If I get a few funds, I'll put it here, I'll put it there, and my business should go well. But the honest truth is, sometimes it's not even money that you need, right? You need proper structure. For instance, you want to get funding and you do not even have a finance person either on your team or maybe someone you are outsourcing, right? And you want to get funding. So you know that this is not. Can you still hear me, please?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Okay, can you hear me, please? Hello.
Very well, Deborah. So, we can hear you.
Thank you. So you know that this is a structure, a finance coming into place that is going to fail, because there's no financial analyst to tell you, okay, these are the things you need to do with this money. This is how you should allocate it. This is how it should be spent into the business. So some people don't even have, financial analysis. They don't have a simple record keeping system. So they don't even understand if their business is bringing money or not. But they are concerned that everybody says funding helps your business. So the next thing they're thinking is how to get the next funding round, which is okay. But if you don't have the structure, you realize that you've probably underestimated your business. And when the funding comes, either you run out of the money, or you realize that your business is not generating enough capital to scale and then make the business sustainable. So it's not just about funding. You need proper structure. Proper structure does not mean you need to get a 6 years experience of a business analysis or business development. It starts from simple bookkeeping. Let me take, for example, before the advent of technology, we had our parents or people who had businesses put down the details of their business in books. There were record keeping ledgers. But today, because there's AI, there's technology, a lot of people have neglected that, and it has affected them being able to see into their business that what they need sometimes is not funding. If you're able to
that conversation and analyze, what stage should founders stop wearing everything, every art in the business, and begin building systems that can operate independently for them?
Thank you. All right. I mean, that's the key question that a lot of people ask right now, because we know that a lot of founders,
they put on so many hats when it comes to when it comes to business. So when do you think they should start building systems that can operate independently?
Okay.
Deborah, do we still have you?
Yeah, so I mentioned that. Hello? Please, can you hear me?
Deborah, we have you. Did you get the question?
Okay, thank you. So I was speaking that a lot of founders ask when they should stop wearing the hats, but I think you should start creating your design of that leads to you stop wearing the hats from your day one, right? From your structure. Like I mentioned earlier, structure is from day one of your business. And at what point do you actually then move from just structuring it right in your head to, start assigning people to tasks? So first is at the stage where you begin to make sales, actual sales. So, I mean, what sustains a business is sales. So when you should start taking off those hats is when you start making sales. And after making sales, then you start putting your ideas down, having SOPs. Oh, this is how we do things here. This is how we should be doing things going forward. And then you review the process. So when you start making sales is when you start, putting in proper structure. But before that, because most people jump into overhiring, right? If the owner of the business, you cannot drive in some level of sales at the first stage of your business, then you need to check some things. Some things are not structurally right, or you are not able to market from 100, then you should start considering taking off some hats off you. And before you take off, another mistake a lot of Nigerians business owners make is once they start taking off the hats, they don't have a proper documentation of what should be done when you're giving someone this hat, right? So it affects the output of those talents, and they begin to burn out. So you must have created a proper SOP on this is how this department works, and this is how it should move.
Right. Yeah. So but very, very well said, Debbie. But as businesses grow, there's often tension between having to maintain flexibility and also introducing structure. How do you think founders can build systems without creating bureaucracy that slows innovation?
That's very, very, very deep. I mean, because on the long run, structure actually is what builds bureaucracy. But as much as people want structure, you want to ensure that things are done appropriately. One key thing that must not be left out when things like this are being developed is a faster process to do things, right? Because if the process you're creating still boils down to you or boils down to a system that is slow, then at the end of the day, you realize that you've created a workspace where people are not productive when you are not around. People are not productive because there are so many blockers in the system you've created. So there's something we call structural evaluation, right? So when you create this structure, you have to evaluate it first, testing it. So you need to confirm as a business owner, just to ensure that you don't create a system where everybody is waiting on you or everybody is expecting that, oh, you're going to bring a solution, because all your structure points back to you, right? That's what most CEOs and businesses do right now. They point all the solutions or all the approvals to come from them, but that is not a proper structure, because at the end of the day, you, the CEO, you're still going to burn out. So creating a structure, testing it out based on your team, the talent you have, that's the people that are working with you, and then if it doesn't work, right, you evaluate it. There's no one way to structure. It has to be, directly based on people you're working with. So for you to have a system that doesn't become bureaucratic, you have to create one, test it, evaluate it, and ensure that it works for the system you are building.
From your bio here, you've worked across startups and ecosystem building organizations, right? So what are the biggest operational blind spots that you consistently see among founders and business owners?
Sorry, please can you come again? I lost you.
So I'm asking that, what are the biggest operational blind spots that you get to consistently see among founders and business owners, judging from the fact that you've worked across startups and ecosystem building organizations?
All right, thank you. I think first is there are too many meetings. That's on the lighter side, but for startups, there's so many meetings, right? And there are no proper documentation. That's the major situation that you see with most startups, right? So you're talking about a business deal of about maybe $100 million, and during the meeting, we don't have a secretary for the meeting. We don't have someone jotting down the action points. And then in a situation where there's someone jotting down the action point, there is no proper documentation, right? That's one of the major pitfalls that most founders have. So at the end of the day, most of these discussions just end back into cycles, because different people will be able to give you different reports, and at the end of the day, you don't have a proper detail of what was achieved during the meeting. That same documentation affects every other part of operations, which is most founders don't document SOPs, right? They don't document the SOPs. That's the process in which they achieve things. They don't document that. For still on documentation, they don't have a financial documentation, right? On, okay, this is how much we made, this is how much we are spending, this is what is left, and this is what the business is bringing to us. So I think I would just mention this because it's a core thing, right, that happens with startups. Another key detail, which is different from documentation, is the fact that they are too fast, or they go too fast to hire, right? A lot of them just want to bring in the hands to do the work, while neglecting the fact that you as the founder have to first understand your business, know what you're selling, know your customer, right? So they are bringing in talents to help them understand a business they founded. So it can be overwhelming because not every talent is a visionary. Not every talent understand your mission. So founders, they sometimes in this space they lack first the understanding to understand their home product, and then scale it to other people.
Right. So let's now move on because we're now pressed with time. Let's for SMEs, for the SMEs operating in today's challenging economic environment. And when I say challenging economic environment, I'm talking about high inflation, the tight financing conditions that every Nigerian is aware of now, and also rising operating costs. So what practical systems can they implement to become more resilient and profitable in this, tight, challenging economic environment?
Okay, if I heard you clearly, we're looking at profitability for SMEs. If I got that clearly.
Yes, please.
So for SMEs, I think some of the structural problems that that can be traced back, to when people start business for survival, right? And that's the situation with a lot of SMEs. I'm not going to say everybody in every SME is directly doing business for survival, but they have some traces around that. So doing business for survival sometimes affects how you end up, structuring your business, because you do not think it to be something really big. So you're not looking at profitability, you're just looking at daily income, right? So this on the long run affects, how your business works. So a lot of, SMEs don't have a system where they're keeping profits different from their personal funds, from their, general funds. So
cost. Anyways, thank you so much for your time on the show, Deborah Montari. It was really a struggle getting to, hear you. I'm sure it's, the network connection. But thank you very much for your time. It was really good to have you on the Business Money Live.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, the conversation still continues on the show. Do stay with us after this break.
From just being an economic index to be a community impact index through the development that investing in women and a woman bring to community. We have 774 communities. That is 774 local government areas with our mothers, our Iyalakaras, the Kosei sellers, the entire informal economy, which during the KPMG presentation clearly indicated that 80.7% is women of that GDP. And that labor market, as well as the reference gender index, is not about a women's agenda. It is about shared prosperity. For me, the excitement as the DG CEO for the Mariam Babangida National Center for Women's and National Development is about centering women at the center, women at the pivot of national development, not just as recipients of grants, beneficiaries of some palliatives, but as leaders redirecting the focus as well as the very strategically designed impact of prosperity from the place of stability, like we heard the Honorable Minister say, in terms of repurposing the workforce to those of employable reference and representation, the greater number being women, and the adolescent girl child scaling through their foremost graduating positions these days in Nigerian universities. A lot of the top performing graduates are girls. And we're finding that this, however, does bring us to a place where we have to redirect our investment in the boy child. So it's not just about the girl child. I'm just saying that because even as the CEO for women, I'm a CEO for raising a generation as a woman who's mothering nations through the pipeline of her political activation and appointation. So for me, it's a whole vista of opportunity. From stability to shared prosperity is actually economic language. But the truth of the matter, what it is the fact that that shared prosperity is 774 communities. I served as the pioneer mandate secretary for women, that's Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs of the Federal Capital Territory for 2 years and 6 months. It was from that position that I was promoted and elevated to this position as DG. And what that gave me was access to a profiling of how communities are the pivot of economies. And through women, you have the pipeline for development. Again, I say, a women's agenda is not about gender. It is about development. It is about leadership. It is about policy governance, implementation, operationalization. It's not just about, stop gender-based violence, but much more than that. When you understand that period poverty is poverty, when you understand that water and sanitation health, poverty is poverty, and that the most implicated in this is always the woman, the girl child, the person with these vulnerable communities. Communities are vulnerable because women have not been empowered and given that equitable status of economic representation and training. I always say, if you don't train them, don't blame them. So it's much more than being a member of an adagio where at the traditional cultural baseline community, women gather money together and use it over an annual reference of their being in the cluster. It's more about financial training, literacy training. Those monies whole new nation.
Yeah.
Of shared prosperity.
Right. And there's something you said which stuck out to me. It's you said we're not just talking about shared prosperity, but also shared legacy. If there is something you'd say, if you could remove a barrier hindering women right now to reach, this shared prosperity we're talking about, what's that barrier that you'll be?
It's mental. The greatest barrier of every woman is her mindset. It's the orientation towards money, but not just towards money, it's towards herself. And how do I know this so well? It's been my experience. It's my experiential barrier that I had to break through. I mean, I was raised in a family in the first place that our parents would tell us that in this family, we don't make money. We have good name. We don't have.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Business Morning Live. Still on the conversation, Nigeria's fashion industry has evolved into a vibrant part of the creative economy, with women's wear brand playing a significant role in shaping consumer trends, creating jobs, and building homegrown businesses. But behind every collection is a business navigating changing consumer preferences, rising production costs, digital commerce, and the challenge of building a brand that stands out in an increasingly competitive market. Joining us this morning is Esther Temi Adebayo. She's the founder of the women's wear brand. Temi Adebayo, it's really good to have you.
Hi, good morning. Good to have you too.
Good morning.
Good to be here.
Good to be here. Good to have us here. So with your experience spanning both the corporate and creative sector, what brings a unique perspective to building a fashion business that blends with both creativity and also with strategy?
So, can you come again?
Do we have you, Esther?
Yes, I do. I can hear you clearly now.
All right. I said, let's take the question over again, right? Let's look at the Nigeria fashion industry. It continues to grow, but so does the competition, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, what does it take to build a women's brand that stand out today?
Okay, thank you very much for having me once again to be here. Very quickly, I would just say that from my perspective, it's a combination of two things, right? I would say creativity and I would say grit. Creativity because, like you said, you have to really, really believe in what you're doing. There's the grit, right? Because yes, there's so many people out there. A lot of people are selling out. People are buying pieces from Nigeria. There's also the parts where it's really just tough doing business here, right? And then just being able to be that person that says, oh, regardless whether it works, whether the economic situation is not in my favor, whether it looks like, oh, the brand is picking up or not picking up right now, I'm still going to keep going. I think those two things will really, really help you stand out, especially in the fashion space in Nigeria.
All right, let's look at consumer preference. That is something that is constantly evolving, right? So what shifts have you observed in how women shop, and how have those changes influenced the way you design your brand and also position your product?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question, right? Over the years, I've noticed a lot of shifts. I think one of the things that I've seen, especially recently, is the fact that women, because I design for women majorly, have kind of changed the way they shop, in the sense that people, let's say years ago, people would have maybe a particular dress and say that, oh, it is for a special occasion, or it's just for it's a piece that I wear to a wedding. But now people are making more informed decisions when it comes to shopping. So you see someone about to commit or make a payment to shop via a website, but they are not just thinking about one event. They are thinking about, also, when I buy this, where can I wear it to? Where are the places that I wear it to? So it just has to be able to function in different scenarios. So I should be able to wear it to weddings, I should be able to wear it to church, I should be able to wear it to brunch with my girls, I should be able to wear it to a lunch day, anything. So people no longer, especially women, no longer really shop for just one particular occasion, but it has to be occasions really. One of the major changes that I noticed, and they are not even going to back down when it really comes to pricing, but they just want to know that it can function in different ways.
Do we still have you, Esther?
Sorry, did you get that?
Yes, we did. Now, let's move on now from the, how people's preferences change one's brand design and also position the market. One thing that is very prevalent when it comes to the fashion industry, especially for fashion entrepreneurs, is the fact that many of them begin with creativity. We see the talent, but they struggle with the business side. So in your experience, what separate brands that endure from those that don't? Esther, can you hear us? Well, I think we'll go on a quick break. Let's see if we can still get Esther back in the studio. Just stay with us. I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business,
in Nigeria. Start your day with Business Day.
Business Day is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, Business Day has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At Business Day, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make
Welcome back. You're still watching the Business Morning Live, and our final conversation this morning. Before we went on that break, Esther was explaining to us about how, you know, customers' preferences influence the way brands design and also how they position their product. Now, Esther, do we still have you?
Yes, please, you do.
All right, now let's look at one major thing. As I was saying before we went on that break, it's the fact that fashion entrepreneurs, they begin with, or they begin with creativity. Of course, before you can become a fashion entrepreneur, you have to have, you know, even if it's a tiny bit of creativity. But the biggest part is the business side. How do you sell that creativity, right? So in your experience, what separate brands that endure from those that, you know, don't endure?
Okay, so thank you very much for that question. Apologies for the network break, the network issue. So for me, I would say that it's basically your ability to just reflect and sit with the business, sit with the data, because you realize, like you said, that you start a business because, especially a fashion business, because yes, you're creative, yes, you know how to design and just make beautiful pieces, but then you realize down the line, that you've really been running at a loss. You have nothing to show for your artwork all these years. So it's just you being able to sit with the business, you being able to pay attention to your data, you being able to see that, oh yes, it's not just about being creative, it's also about studying your numbers. It's also about paying attention to what customers actually love, what customers would actually buy into. Say, for example, you love to design a particular piece, but the customers are saying, based on your data, based on what they buy the most, this is what they want. You going ahead to design what you think you really love will definitely kill the business. So as a fashion entrepreneur, as a creative person, even though we try as much as possible to always just dip our head in the creative side, it's also very important to pay attention to the data side, pay attention to the business, reflect. This is what separates the brands that endure over the years, really.
All right, let's talk inflation and also the rising production costs, you know, that have affected businesses across sectors. How has the current economic climate changed the way fashion brands operate?
Okay, so basically, I know that you might have heard a lot of people ranting or just saying a lot of, oh, Nigerian fashion brands are so expensive, we cannot even afford you guys again, what is going on here? But trust and
Okay, I think we lost
that we have to
Esther
be productive
again.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, do we have you back, Esther? Okay, this is starting to get interesting, so please carry on.
Okay, so I was saying that you might have seen a lot of women or a lot of people saying, oh, we are in Nigeria, but we can no longer afford Nigerian fashion brands. What is going on? But to be honest, our current economic realities, it has put us in reality has put us in a position where to be productive or to be profitable as a business, you have to try as much as possible to, yes, accommodate the customer, but also think about think long term for the business. Because I mean, this is not an hobby, this is a business. We want to ensure that yes, we are serving you, but we also have operational costs. We also have staff to pay. We also have a lot of bills piling up on a daily basis. So this has just made a lot of brands, trust me, kind of to an extent lose customers, but at least still try to be profitable. I don't know if you get me. It's just basically saying, look, we don't have a choice right now than to increase our prices. We might lose some people, but we just need to be profitable, and this is what we'll do. We'll try as much as possible to just find a middle ground where we are being profitable, we are trying as much as possible to serve different markets while still surviving the current economic reality of Nigeria. So yeah.
Right. One thing that is for sure is that building a brand actually requires consistency, right? So how important is having a clear identity in an era where trend move on so quickly? And that's one of the reasons why I really do not dig fashion, because people move on. They move on, from trends easily. So how does a brand actually have to stay consistent in that kind of operation?
Okay, that's a really good question, because when it comes to trends, like you said, trends will come, trends will go. But when it comes to you have to get to a point where people know what to come to your brand for, right? You have to come to, yes, you can try to incorporate the trends into your designs, try as much as possible to put it in, because you don't want people to go elsewhere. But at the core, if you ask me, like as a designer, or even a consumer, because I buy from other brands, there's always a difference between brands that know that, oh, I'm doing this long term, I'm not doing this for just trends. Those kind of brands are the brands where trends will come, trends will go. They still know the core of the business. They know the people that they are serving. They know, people know what to come to them for. This is what sets different brands from apart from each other, right? People know, oh, this is what I come to Temi Adebayo for. This is what I come to another fashion brand for. Doesn't mean that these brands are doing bad. It just means that regardless of the trends, we are thinking long term. We are thinking, how can we give our customers timeless pieces? How can I create something that in the next 10 years, somebody will look back, look into their bag, or look into their
I was going to ask about how social media is actually
it's beautiful. People are going for this, people are going for that, but this is what
I was going to ask, my next question would have been how social media has transformed fashion marketing. Beyond visibility, how has digital engagement changed customer relationships and also the purchasing behavior? Because I might see a skirt that I don't like from a brand, but because everyone is raving about it, I want to get the skirt. It's really a behavior that we don't understand. So how do you think social media influences that and also gives visibility, digital engagement?
So thank you very much for that question. It's a very interesting one. Social media has always been powerful. I mean, over the years, let's say 3-4 years or 5 years ago, maybe like you said, you wouldn't have purchased that skirt because you saw it on somebody. But now, because everybody's buying it, you might not even be interested. It might not even be your style or your vibe, where you are just deciding, oh, everybody's buying, I also want to buy, right? That in a way benefits the brand because it adds more money to the brand. But to the consumer, it just makes us promote consumerism in such a way that whether it is good, whether it is bad, as long as people are doing it, as long as people are buying it, I'm also buying it. Another thing that has really just been affected, not really affected in a bad way, is the fact that people now, consumers make decisions in a hurry and they have data at their fingertips, right? I want to buy from a certain business. I don't have to do so much worry anymore. I just have to go on Instagram. I just have to go on TikTok, see how the particular piece looks like on maybe 3 people that have worn it, or even just see real-time reviews of people that have done a video and talk about, they've talked about the brand, talked about the customer experience. If what I go to see on Instagram or TikTok is a bad review of that particular business, it has put me off. I'm not buying again. So people have like real time, very fast feedback, very fast review. And if what I see from what people are saying about the business is a good thing, then they have my money. So it's a win and it's kind of a loss, but not a loss to the consumer. The only way it becomes a loss to the consumer is if the consumer, regardless of what they see on social media, they are just going ahead and buying and saying, oh, I actually just want to join the bandwagon. I really just want to buy from this brand, like they call it. I really just want to join this cult. I really just want to join the community of people that buy from this brand. So yeah, I think that's the way it has really affected purchasing behavior, customer relationship, and people are not even looking to spend so much time interacting or communicating with the brand. It's just, oh, I want to buy, do you have, or you don't have? If you don't have, I'm buying from someone else. So yeah, that's just basically it.
Right. I like the fact that the Nigerian fashion is now gaining international attention. It didn't used to be that way. So what do local women's wear brand need to do to become more competitive, both at home and also in the international market, away from just being recognized?
Okay, so I would basically say, like we mentioned earlier, the first thing is just standing out.
Okay, I think we lost
being able to just stand out, doing your thing in your own way.
Please go ahead.
I mean, for the international market. Sorry, can you hear me?
All right. Do we still have you?
Yes, please, you do.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I was saying that the first thing is just basically trying as much as possible to be creative in your own way, doing your thing, really going at it. The most important thing, another very important thing, is just basically designing for the international markets. If we were not doing things that would attract these guys, they would not be coming and shouting, oh my god, Nigerian fashion is this, Nigerian fashion is that. It's just basically knowing that, look, the world is looking at us now. Everyone is paying attention to us. We cannot afford to joke with quality. We can't afford to joke with design, because one bad review from one bad Nigerian brand can affect like 5 other Nigerian brands, because one international customer had a bad experience with just one brand. They can judge 5 other brands with you. So it's just basically paying attention to your design, paying attention to the quality that you're putting out, and your overall brand experience. That's what would just keep the eyes coming and keep the money flowing.
All right, let's just wrap up. If you're advising someone looking to launch a women's brand today, where would you tell them to invest first? Would you tell them to invest in the design? Is it the branding? Is it operations? Is it customer experience, or something else? What and where would you ask them to first invest in?
Okay, for me, I would say design and community. Right, trust me, I think that starting a brand now, especially in 2026, is easier, because you have a lot of information, you have data, right? Design, when I say design, I'm just saying designing for the people that you're solving a problem for. Okay, I'm solving a problem for slim women, or bossy women, or women that really want modest pieces that are still stylish, right? So that part stands, the design part, knowing who exactly you're designing for, and then the community, just not building alone, just carrying people along as you build, so that when people give you feedback, when people give you insight, when people give you what they're thinking about, it kind of now informs what you are eventually designing. And trust me, when you carry people along, they would be your biggest fans. They would always be there. They will tell people about the business. They will tell people about your design. Eventually leads to growth for your business.
Right. Thank you very much, Esther. It was really good to have you on the Business Money Live show. All right, still on the show, of course, we cannot end without having to bring you the social listening segment. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be looking at how netizens are reacting to some of the stories that we have for you. Just stay with us.
Right, this is still the Business Day CEO Forum here at a hotel and suite. I'm still speaking to our CEOs, business leaders, and key stakeholders across the business landscape. And I'm here with the MD and the CEO of Energia, Mr. Oladimeji Basharon. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr.
Thank you also
Basharon.
for having me here.
Talk to me about your key takeaway. You just finished a panel right now. Talk to me about some of the proceedings from that panel.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I really want to say thank you to Business Day, 14 years of doing this, of actually having us to dialogue, bringing both the private, the government, and everybody in to have a conversation. My first takeaway is that we all have a responsibility as Nigerians, whether as CEO or even as a citizen, to make sure that we invest and we are part of this country. That's the first one. The second thing is also, it's not just government alone. I see it on the company that our annual revenue is in billions of naira. So I need to ensure that at not just delivering profit to the shareholders, that I also deliver value to Nigerians. We provide energy, and so we will comply and ensure that energy is provided. So I picked that up. The third one is also that we have an infrastructure deficit, and it will take all of us to invest into that. So it is going back now to look at our strategy and say, where do we fit into this stream as part of my takeaway from this forum.
Fantastic. And when we talk about where we fit into this stream, let's talk about the theme for today's event, which is from stability to shared prosperity. Now, what will shared prosperity look like for you from the lens of an energy lens? What would that look like?
Yeah, thank you. Very excellent question. So what does it mean for me? It means that we run a company that is first able to provide energy to drive growth for this nation, that we ensure that our energy is affordable, is available, and is accessible. That's the first thing, to make sure that we help businesses, the SMEs, the 90%, to be able to scale up, and they'll need energy. So that's the first one, so that they are also part of the shared prosperity. The second one is that individual Nigerians will provide employment, but not just employment, we provide intellectual capacity and growth for them, so that they also prosper intellectually, so it becomes shared. It's not just the company. We invest in development of people. So we move away from just having a typical engineer, but we provide a resource to the nation that somebody would be able to benefit. The third one is also to provide governance prosperity, that we have a group of leaders that can run the business even beyond us, and that's what we're investing into, to make sure that it's shared prosperity.
Nice. If you're to look right now, from between now 2027 and then 10 years from now, what's a signal or trend or shift in your sector today that you would say that every business leader should be paying attention to, and why?
Yeah, the first one is technology. The AI is taking over the world. We cannot pretend that we are not going to be impacted. So we need to start investing in the technology. We need to also follow the trend in terms of the governance of AI, the technology that is. The second thing also now is that Nigerians are being entrusted with running the company. 60% of the oil and gas sector, the production of today is provided by Nigerian oil companies. So we need to keep the trend up. When the majors, when the international oil companies leave, Nigerians should be able to take it over and run it successfully. So that's the second trend. We need to keep up the trend. The third one also is that we are competing with the fintechs for resources. So we need to be attractive for people to come in. We need to go to the universities, ensure that we have enough, invest in development at the university level, partner with universities for researches, because we are competing with fintech for resources. They are very lucrative, and so that's a trend that we see that we must do something about so that we are not out of business.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oladimeji Basharin, for stopping by at our booth today, and also just the insightful conversation, brief and very, very impactful. Thank you very much.
And thank you also for having me. I really enjoyed the section today. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this is still the Business Day CEO Forum, the 14th edition, and it's still a very epic moment here at Eco Hotel and Suites, speaking with CEOs, key stakeholders, and business leaders. And now I'm speaking with the CEO of Aga Khan University Hospital, is Mr. Koram Jamal. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I want to start by asking you about some of the key takeaways that you've gotten from this event. I mean, you've been here for a while now, and then you had a presentation. Talk to me about what you think about this year's theme, which is from stability to shared prosperity, and also some of the key takeaways that you might have gotten from some of the sessions which we had here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for Business Day, for inviting the Khan University Hospital to participate in this very fruitful CEOs Forum. A lot of interesting talks and topics have been talked about this today, including energy, finance, banking, issues and challenges that are facing the Nigerian business sector, and what the business community, the government, along with the private sector are planning to do to come together and take the agenda forward. So it has been very interesting. Ours was really to do with the healthcare sector, and what we as an Aga Khan University Hospital, which is a private not-for-profit teaching tertiary hospital, is planning to do in terms of trying to keep the African patients not going abroad outside of the continent, but they can acquire quality healthcare within Africa.
Mm-hmm. And then when you speak about quality healthcare within Nigeria, I think Africa is really important, because every year we see billions of dollars leaving Africa out of the African continent, for medical treatment abroad. And we see also that many of our best healthcare professionals, I'll speak also from the standpoint of being a Nigerian, many of our best healthcare professionals are leaving the country. And I know this also is happening in other African countries. How do we reverse this brain drain that is going on?
Yes, so I spoke about a few things. One is regularly building talent. That's number one. Number two is ensuring that we pay what is right to our physicians. Number three, what is also very important is if we do not provide the right practicing environment for physicians, then they have no other choice but to leave the countries where they're coming from. So for a cardiologist who has spent 12, 13, 14 years training to become a specialist, if he does not have the right environment in which to practice medicine, whether it's to do with outpatient consulting clinic work, or whether it's to do with the cath lab, diagnostic and interventional procedures, or whether it's to do with the recovery that takes place for these patients in the coronary care unit, if those facilities do not exist, then those cardiologists will simply not stay. So those are the challenges that we're currently facing, and that is what we as the private sector and as the government need to come together to ensure that we provide the right environment for our physicians to practice quality medicine.
Right. And I like when you said practicing quality medicine. That also brings me to the issue of trust. because trust happens to be a very recurring theme, especially in the healthcare sector. How do we get to the point where we begin to trust, the healthcare sector, to begin to trust, to make use of, healthcare within the continent?
Right. So another very important factor. Remember, the patients normally just see the physicians, but behind the physicians, you have other different clinical care providers, which includes nurses and allied health professionals. So they work cohesively as a team in providing that quality care to the patients. We at the Aga Khan University Hospital, we were the very first institution in sub-Saharan Africa to accredit ourselves with Joint Commission International. Now, this is an international gold standard quality accreditation for healthcare institutions, where you have more than 200 standards and over 1,200 measurable elements that you are regularly surveyed on, which assesses how good you are when it comes to delivery of quality care to patients. Besides this, we are also College of American Pathologists accredited laboratory. We also have 2 centers of excellence in stroke and heart attacks, which is a CCPC program from Joint Commission International, and the list goes on. So this is our way of showing to the patient that not only do we have the brightest minds in the institution, not only do we have the fantastic infrastructure and equipment, but we also have external quality accreditations with us that demonstrate our commitment to providing quality care.
Right. And you speak a lot about, collaboration within African healthcare. I know you had partnerships also with Kenyan Airways. What does it take to truly create a healthcare system which is, co-creating, collaborating? What does that look like?
So we have tried to, at least in our most recent partnership that we've now done with Kenya Airways, what that means is for the patients that are here in Nigeria, they can have access to quick airline tickets, they can have access to subsidized and discounted airfares, they can even have...
Welcome back. This is the social listening segment. Of course, if it's sparking conversations, that we're bringing it to you. Welcome to the social listening segment, where we bring you stories, debates, and moments generating conversation across social media. I am Deborah Eze. And now let's get into what's making waves online. For the first conversation today, Abia State Governor Alex Oti has approved the payments of the first phase of medical expenses of veteran Nollywood actress Ngozi Nwosu. Reactions on social media. Now, the first reaction from Femola, and then Femola said, "While I commend Alex Oti for this kind gesture, the outpouring of praise it has generated is a reflection of how much empathy we've lost as a nation. We have become thrilled by what should be normal in a decent society. We now beg the bare minimum." Another reaction from Iron Will, and he said, "This pattern of Nollywood act ailing with mysterious illnesses and dying after all effort to save them is really happening now with monotonous regularity. Is Nollywood cursed or something?" Another one is, "What did she do with all our Nollywood's earning during our A-days that the government have to take responsibility for our medical bills? Doesn't she have children? Between what's the use of Nollywood if actors aren't paid well?" Anyways, first of all, I must say this is a real level of kindness from Alex Oti, because at the end of the day, they do not owe this Nollywood actress, that's the veteran actress in Ngozi Nwosu, they do not owe her anything. And we cannot sit here and pretend like we do not understand how the Nollywood industry was before now that producers and directors now know to act their movies and they put it on YouTube, and they know that, oh, they're going to get royalty. We didn't understand how the whole getting royalty for your movies work. It was Alaba then you act your movie and you have to beg somebody to put it in a tape in Alaba, and then they get like a whole chunk of the money, and then at the end of the day you're getting nothing. We cannot, you know, take that away. And the netizen that actually said they don't understand where their earnings are, that is for you. This veteran Hollywood actors and actresses were really earning a lot, and that is why we say take care of your health. I'm a believer that, you know, if you take care of yourself during your performative years, and when I mean performative years, that's in your 20s, your 30s, I'm very sure your 40s, 50s, 60s, you know, would be better. And that is not taking away the fact that anyone can fall ill. You know, you can have one health challenge or the other, regardless of how well you take care of yourself. Now, we should commend the state governor, the Abia state governor, for doing this, because at the end of the day, it's not anybody's right to actually do it, because this person, that's the actress in question, has put a lot of smiles on our faces. We all grew up watching her, so I think if it's something that we can do, we should do, and not having to, you know, question what they did with their earnings, when we know very well that they didn't have as much, they don't really have as, you know, much royalty and understanding of intellectual property like we know now. Now let's move to the second conversation. On the second conversation today, the Sokoto State Isba Board has announced an immediate ban on several wedding and social gathering practices, including the use of DJs, the popular marriage introduction ceremony known as Nagani, in so mixed gender entertainment, and extravagant bridal gifts, describing them as un-Islamic innovation. The board also prohibited the use of wazigidi music at ceremonies, loudspeakers mounted on tricycles, women sitting beside tricycle riders, interesting, and what it described as indecent hairstyles among children and youth, and excessive spending on bridal gifts, popularly known as lefe. And also the directive during the press conference briefing in Sokoto on Tuesday, the commander of the state Isba board, Malam Usman Abdullahi from Ikpalibo, and he said, "I really can't believe I'm sharing a country with people who are so backward and uncivilized. They make unnecessary Islamic rules to control the poor, while the rich and wealthy indulge in the same practices by condemning that they condemn as un-Islamic." Another one from Mayor of Dom, and he said, "I hope if the governor's daughter is getting married to one billionaire son, you will not allow any party or any sort of gathering to take place." And finally from Samuel Latuji, and he said, "When any of the northern governors or National Assembly members are giving away their daughters in marriage, we will see how this ban will take effect." Well, that's to let you all know that the world is not equal. Rules are for the poor, and the time you understand that, the better for you. And the part that made me laugh was where he emphasized that the male family, that's the groom, having to like give the bride family exotic gifts, and he went ahead to list the exotic gifts, and the exotic gifts are cola nuts, bottled water, soft drink. Now let's address the DJ issue. So it's really absurd that, you know, you have a Nigerian wedding without a DJ. It's more like saying you go for a party and there's no jollof rice. It doesn't make sense at all to me. And the part where they actually said a lady shouldn't sit, you know, beside a tricycle rider. Well, like I said, I don't have a lot to say, because the rules are rules, right? The law is the law, but it depends on who the rule is for. So if you're rich, if you're a governor's child, or I'm even going from maybe a local government chairman daughter or son, I'm sure the rule is not applicable, but the rule is applicable to you and I, you know, people that are like us, that are living in Sokoto State. So I'm sure they are used to things like this. I do not like to mention the Sharia law, but if we really look at the Sharia law, it's actually in accordance of everything that he's saying. So I'm sure they are used to things like this, and it's going to be easy peasy for them to just, you know, flow with it and adapt with the new rule. But at the end of the day, rules are for those who are poor, who don't have money. So let's move to the final conversation today. Popular Nigerian content creators Abib Amzet, popularly known as Pella, and Amado Elizabeth Aminata, known as Jarvis, have officially tied the knot in a civil wedding held on Wednesday, July 29th, ahead of their much anticipated white wedding scheduled for August 1st. The couple confirmed the development through photos and videos shared on social media, announcing the milestone on his Instagram page. The court wedding comes just days after the pair unveiled their pre-role. Very valid and very true, Ella. And we have from Kola. Kola said, personally, I feel Pella is too small for marriage. Like, what does he even know about marriage? But anyways, who am I to advise a rich man? Very valid too, I agree. And we have Bello Tohib. Bello Tohib said, wish them nothing but the best and love. I don't want yet justice for anybody in the coming years. And finally from Vale, and Vale said, congratulations to him though, and I wish him all the best, but they should consider having a marriage counselor. Why though? Why? Most of the marriages that actually, last the test of time, although I am not a preacher of marry, don't marry, we are adults and we can make whatever decision that we, decide to make. But really, I don't think age is a factor when it comes to marriage, because you can be 35. It's until you get into the marriage before you learn the things you're supposed to learn when it comes to marriage. So I don't see why he's getting all the backlash that he's getting. And you forget that these people are content creators. These people, they have an entirely different life aside from what they actually show you as content, what they sell to you. I was telling someone the other day, I'm pretty sure that Pella does not talk the way he talks inside his house. I'm pretty sure. Forget all of what they're trying to show to us. Everyone has a side that, they will show to you, especially when it comes to content creation. So marriage is a learning process, even for somebody who is 60 and is getting married for the first time. You're learning it. You're learning how to live with somebody. You're learning how to make decisions together. You're learning that it's not just me, it is now us. So it's not something that age teaches you. It comes from being inside the marriage. So I think we should applaud them. They are adults at the end of the day, and they can make whatever decisions they want to make. So congratulations to Pella and Jarvis on their court wedding. It was really beautiful, and I think it's sweet. From the, when the judge yesterday was saying, okay, if you ever get married to someone else, you've committed bigamy, either of you're liable to spend 5 years in jail. And then he's like, why? How did jail enter the whole love? Like, we are in love, we're getting married. I found it very sweet, witty and funny. I don't see why people are actually reading meaning into things. A lot of people who are 35, they don't even know what bigamy is. They don't know what you can do for you to spend 5 years in prison. And that is why I know many 40-year-olds that are actually committing bigamy in broad daylight, and they think when it gets to the court of law, nothing is going to happen to them. So it has nothing to do with age at the end of the day. And like I said, the wedding is just the trend. It's the marriage. Is it healthy? I think it's healthy for both of them, and I'm really, really happy for them. Anyways, that's a wrap on the conversation making waves across social media in Nigeria today. Thank you for watching the social listening segment. Until we come your way tomorrow for the Friday edition, I am Deborah Eze. Do have yourselves a beautiful morning.
This is the 14th annual edition of the Business Day CEO Forum, a forum for CEOs, leaders, policymakers, key stakeholders across Nigeria's economy. And today's theme is really from stability to shared prosperity. Today is such a beautiful day with all of the CEOs and the policymakers and the government officials we have right here in the hall. But today, I'm here right now with the CEO of KPMG One Africa, Mr. Tola Adeyemi. Thank you so much for coming to our booth and stopping by.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So let me start by, speaking to the theme. I mean, you already delivered such a beautiful presentation upstate, but let's talk about the theme for this year's event, which is from stability to shared prosperity. I want to hear your perspective on, some of the indicators that says, oh, really that we're moving to shared prosperity, because, when you look at the macroeconomic conditions, some of the things around you, it's hard to, to actually agree. So I want to hear your perspective.
Well, first of all, let me say congratulations to this day for organizing this event.
Business Day.
And so, Business Day for organizing this event, and also for the choice of topic, because I think it's very timely. We've gone through a suite of reforms in Nigeria, which were aimed at stabilizing the economy. But the other important aspect of that is making sure that the prosperity that comes from GDP growth, that permeates throughout the economy and everybody feels the impact. So we know intuitively that people complain about the rising cost of living and such other things. But we thought that it's important to bring to this conversation around shared prosperity. Let's bring some data into the conversation. Let's have a scorecard that can be used to measure shared prosperity. And so what we've done is to come up with such a scorecard, including various indices that relate to how inclusive the growth is. It relates to people's well-being and standard of well-being. So for instance, some of the indices we look at are the rate of GDP growth in itself. We look at indices such as GDP per capita, which is to understand the trend in that. We look at the number of children of school age that are out of school, because that's another indicator as well. We look at indicators such as access to electricity as another indicator. And then the number of people that are operating in what we refer to as multidimensional poverty. So we believe that tracking these indices over a period of time will certainly provide an indication as to how well the economy is doing in delivering shared prosperity. We also think it's important for government to articulate its targets in relation to those indices, and to make those targets public, as well as the periodic measurement of those indices, because I think accountability is pretty important in helping to deliver shared prosperity. So these are all the things that I spoke about.
Some of the indicators that you'd mentioned.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious to know, do you believe that we are entering into a new phase of economic prosperity or economic opportunity? Do you believe? If you believe, why? If you don't believe, why not?
Well, I think you must remember where we're coming from, and I say if you look in the rear view mirror, you'll see in our past as a country, we're coming from a situation where we were in pretty dire straits, is the way I would put it. Remember, we had multiple exchange rates.
Right.
We had an unsustainable fuel subsidy. We had our indices at all-time lows. There was the whole issue of the level of government borrowing that existed as well. With the reforms that have been put in place, we're seeing a number of key macroeconomic indices now stabilizing. So things like the exchange rate is now stable. Inflation is trending downwards. GDP is growing. So we've moved from what I would say was an almost disaster situation to a situation of stability. Now what we need to achieve is making sure that while maintaining stability, we're delivering shared prosperity. So in a way, you could think about this in phases and say we've gone from being where our indices were moving erratically and chaotically to where they're stable. And now the focus has got to be delivering on that prosperity. So I think where we are now is at this stage where the conversation has got to be more and more about how you deliver shared prosperity. So yes, I think there's been an evolution, but there's still a journey to go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, as a CEO, are there some lessons that some lessons, perhaps top lessons that you've learned within the economic climate that we are right now?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think all businesses have learnt that you've got to be resilient to operate in an economy such as ours. Resilience demands agility, continuously rethinking your strategy and monitoring what's going on in the external environment and making sure you're responding to that very, very quickly. It also involves looking at key data and forecasting where things are likely to go. But I think some of the biggest lessons for me have been the fact that as businesses, as a CEO, we've got to be always thinking long term, because we're in Nigeria, and as I believe most businesses are in Nigeria for the long term. And when you're in for the long term, you've got to be investing for the long term. I think all businesses have a responsibility to invest in the development of talent, the development of skills that not just which that business needs, but which Nigeria as a whole needs to foster its development. That's how businesses take part as well alongside government in creating the future for our country. It's investing in skills, investing in their businesses to create wealth for the shareholders and employees. These all come together. And I think, these are all important lessons and important things that businesses need to do as we move forward.
And speaking of these things that businesses need to do, it brings me to my next question. What separates the companies that thrive from the ones that struggle during periods of change?
I would say it's foresight, one, that ability to look into the future. It's about execution and response time. The businesses that thrive are businesses that are agile and that have the capacity to respond quickly to changes in the environment. The businesses that thrive are the businesses that have the ability to execute on the plans that they develop. Because as you all know, it's one thing to develop a plan. It's quite another thing to ensure that you're executing on it and monitoring the execution of those. The other thing that differentiates businesses is the quality of people that are within those businesses. And how do you get quality people? It's by making sure that you're running a company that has the right set of values and in which you create the right environment in which employees want to work there and want to put in their best. So these are some of the things that distinguish the winners from those who do not win.
Yes, I like that you said about the losers. But now let's also talk about technology. Would you say that technology is creating a level playing field for businesses, or would you say it's created a wider gap?
I think it's definitely a differentiator amongst businesses. There are areas in which it has helped to bridge the gap between businesses, because it has allowed startup businesses, for instance, to leapfrog several stages of development and catch up with more established businesses. So to that extent, it has certainly helped to accelerate growth and bridge the gap. But I think as we look into the future, it's going to become more of a differentiator as well, and that the businesses that will thrive are those that really focus on using technology and in particular artificial intelligence, in ways that are customer focused. Because I think when you deploy your technology and your artificial intelligence on things that matter to your customers, then you really start to widen the gap between yourselves and the others. So the way I see it is that all businesses right now are in this place to say, how do we compete based on the quality and efficiency of our technology? And as in all areas, I think we'll see some winners will emerge, those who understand it and who are able to deploy it in the most effective manner, and then others who will struggle in terms of how they deploy it. The message is that Nigeria is on an upward trajectory. Business confidence is improving. We've seen the credit ratings also trending in the right direction from the international credit agencies. We've seen a lot of reforms that are happening in the business environment. And, you know, one thing that I hear consistently from our clients is that the government is listening, is the way I would put it. There's confidence in that aspect, that the government wants to do the right things, and the government creates an opportunity for business to interact with government, and they listen and they act. So the message to everyone is that Nigeria is on the up, and there are huge opportunities within this economy, and we all just need to engage, and we'll move the country forward.
So if we were sitting here at the next CEO forum, that's 2027 CEO forum,
Right,
and I'm sitting next to Mr. Tola Adeyemi, what would you hope has changed?
I would hope that we'll be able to say, Elizabeth, that, you know what, a year ago, look at where Nigeria was in terms of all the indices that we spoke about for shared prosperity, and look at where we are now. And I would hope that we would be seeing progress in all those indices. That would give a great deal of satisfaction, because we would then know that indeed we're delivering, you know, as a country on this shared prosperity objective that's so important. So I look forward to the 2027 edition, and I look forward to discussing the progress in the indices.
I mean, on a better level. But thank you very much for spending your time with us today at the Business Day CEO Forum, and also this insightful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a real pleasure.